Okay, let's see what's behind door number. This is creepy looking. Well, this is probably where we end up fighting the Bane, and it's got all these, like, ancient thingamadoos. I wonder if we're supposed to be here, or if, like, Tunon would have sent us over here anyway.
A lot of people have already said, oh, did Tunon send you? Did Tunon send you?
It'd be pretty funny if we get to Tunon and he's like, what took you so long? Wait, no, it's not what took you so long. Thanks. I was gonna tell you to do that, but I guess, whatever.
Ooh, what's down the chasm? Well, there's just like a...
There's an eerie glow of unknown origin coming from the depths of this pit.
Ooh.
Okay. A lot of healing potions. That's disconcerting. Healing potions and camping supplies. And other stuff.
I really like these ruins. Don't go up the stairs quite yet.
No. I didn't want to, so...
What
we're inside the old walls, like, literally right now. So this is the door that they probably sealed.
Oh, are those the two stones you have to put on either side? Yeah, in those red force fields.
Okay, let's check that.
What does the hand do?
Sword thing. Bronze dagger. Nope. What do you mean, what hand?
Oh, over there. See how it has a hand on it?
Oh. Interesting rune. Take a charcoal rubbing. This sunken relief, though heavily damaged, is clearly meant to depict a runic symbol, similar to the one you saw at Ascension Hall. The relief is incomplete, and thus the final form of the rune is unknown. Well, for starters, we want Dude to do this. Pressing the charcoal to the parchment, you capture a blurry but proportionate image of the ancient relief. With enough collected imprints, it may be possible to reconstruct the original shape of the rune. As you work, Lantry hovers near. See how that pattern looks broken along the edges. I think there's more to the engraving than what's here. Finish tracing. Then we'll look for more. Lantry nods. Agreed. If we collect enough sketches and imprints, we could no doubt reconstruct the original imaging?
Yeah, it's supposed to be image, but imagine. Yeah.
Image in its entirety.
I think that's the second typo we found.
Okay.
Yeah, you see that one dude said that he had the stones that are supposed to open that door on one side and the other.
Okay. So, quest updated. A portion of unknown sigil that has been recorded on the scroll. The charcoal imprint is rough and incomplete. Okay. Let's see. I assume we don't have anything particularly handy. We've got the metal pole. Oh, right. I want to see if there was any other weapons to throw at Barrack. Right. Because we've got that. Reduces his DPS. Increases his recovery. No, that's probably not that useful. Show tool and a great axe. Okay, not that useful.
Can we ask him about his armor?
Sure.
My Lord Binder, you have something which requires my attention?
Okay, Barrack salutes as he turns to greet you.
What can I do for you?
We should talk about your connection with Verse.
We are siblings.
Ooh.
Half-siblings. Regrettable and repugnant as that fact might seem, it is true. Though the products of different nations and cultures, we have the distinction of sharing a father. I am disgusted by the thought that my father lay down with some low-born southern farmhand. But my horror does not spare me from the truth of it. So I accept the fact and try to move on.
How did you two become aware of this? We'll probably get all of them.
During the conquest, the Scarlet Chorus made sport of shooting down messenger birds on their way to the disfavored camp. Anything they could accomplish to hinder our efforts or embarrass us was fair game. My father sent a missive intended for my eyes alone. By incredible chance, Verse intercepted it and recognized the name and handwriting. She found me in camp that evening, and we discussed our unlikely situation. We've done everything in our power to keep the word quiet. Not many in the Legion know that I share blood with a Southerner, much less a chorus rat.
Do you even like each other?
Not particularly. She is unstable at the best of times, and a hardened killer at the worst. I don't know what her family did to her, but she lacks any pretense of human decency.
How has this affected you, Barrack?
Well, Verse has a nasty habit of jabbering in my ear and making this war intolerable. I plan on parting ways and returning to the north at first convenience. My father will answer for his infidelity. Beyond that, I am happy to consider myself in every way unaffected. My superiors once accused me of having an impulsive streak, but I have worked to suppress it at every turn.
I've heard enough, though I'd like to return to this topic when both of you are present.
If we must. Though I cannot imagine what can be gained of traveling together. I grant that we are both proficient fighters, but most days we get along as well as the archons of war and secrets.
I don't actually see anything about his armor, so I think we'll just
Wait,
leave it.
wait, no. There
What?
was something about his armor, though.
Previously. Yeah, no, nothing. We'll find it later. Maybe I can talk to him again. Don't worry, we'll get it.
What can I do for you?
Tell me about the disfavored.
Okay. We are the Iron Legion, the warrior elite of Kairos' fighting force. I could easily lose count of the hours extolling our glories. What is it you would like to know? Have you fought in any notable battles? I served in Stalwart for the better part of a year, faced the enemy everywhere, from Coral Run to Sentinel Stand. I lost count of the battles. Seems like we fought every other day. A sigh echoes in the cavern of his helm. Some of our best victories took place there, fighting an enemy worthy of our iron, but we are not successful enough to please the Overlord, and the final intervention was harsh on us all. Beric takes a deep breath, his arms folding as his posture stiffens. I had an unusual view of the Edict of Storms. Kairos' judgment left its mark on me, yet considering how we fought at Stalwart, with the skill and honor of legend, only the Edict is remembered. A shame. Let's see.
Okay, so...
Tell me of Graven Ash. Graven Ash is the general of the disfavored, veteran of centuries of battle, and an Archon without peer. I would follow him to the void and back without question. Beric swings his arms in salute. How did you come to serve Kairos? Before uniting the Northern Empire, Graven Ash served as a warlord in the service of one of the local kings that defied Kairos' rule. Incredible as may seem, Ash stood against Kairos' rule. Though his army was dismantled by Kairos' overwhelming numbers, Ash's forces performed admirably. It was said that he and his troops claimed 77 lives for each of their own. Kairos took an interest in the military genius that bloodied his army. Graven Ash was summoned to a conclave of Archons, and though he was sent in chains, he left as an Archon, having been granted a position of power in Kairos' great host of war. Thus the disfavored were born. All of us today trace our line back to those warriors that impressed Kairos with their will and tenacity. The only difference is now we fight on the winning side. Though the general seldom speaks of it, I know that Ash humbled himself in order to spare his troops the brunt of Kairos' punishment. His loyalty to the old blood of the North is beyond question. He made the right choice to save his troops. And he would make it again to save any of us. There's never been a more devoted and attentive leader. Beric makes a proud fist and steps in to a salute with a forceful clatter of pots and pans. Let's see.
What magic does he wield?
Okay, as an Archon, what magic does he wield? Ash works his magic through us, his soldiers. When we do battle, Ash seems to know the events even before our runners have given word. Most importantly, though, he protects us. It's a bit tricky to explain unless you've experienced it. I can think of countless times I've been struck by a spear or hit with an axe, and even run through with an arrow. And in each of those moments, the pain and injury just cease to be. None of us know how he does it, or how he can sense that we're in danger and intervene from afar, but I suppose that's why he's an Archon. What he does probably wouldn't make sense to someone like me. How do you feel about Graven Ash? How do I feel about him? Archon Ash is the bravest, warmest, most compassionate general who ever lived. He's a living icon of leadership and courage. Beric tilts his head slightly to the side, as far as the suit's limited range of motion permits. Ash is a soldier, but he doesn't kill for sport. A leader, but he doesn't issue commands to hear himself talk. He demands disciplined and sober conduct of his troops, and I applaud such standards.
What else do you know of his past?
From how I hear the story, the Voices Nerat was the Archon tasked with conquering Graven Ash's homelands. So it was the Voices' disorganized mob that Ash shamed, and the Mad Archon has loathed Graven Ash ever since. I'm sure that Ash and the Voices have numerous reasons to dislike each other, but I've heard several veterans tell that the Voice's resentment goes back a long time. Alright, that's good enough. We heard enough. I like to mix things.
Okay.
Like, we really do talk a lot, and I like exploring for me. Like, I like going through the world and, like, finding new things.
Seeing a lot in this room I'd like to sketch. But we should keep moving.
Hey.
This chamber immediately reminds you of Ascension Hall. An intricate rune running along the floor can only mean one thing. You stand at the feet of a great spire. Each step you take echoes across a great distance. As you gaze upward, the sage-colored walls quickly give way to unending blackness. The rune in the center of the floor is inactive, and the silence of the hall offers no clues as to its use or function. You feel a slight tug in your chest, a faint echo of the energy that enveloped you at Vendrian's Well. Hold a moment. Lantry bellows the comment louder than needed, smiling as he hears his voice echo through the massive chamber. If my sense of direction is at all reasonable, we are standing below the spire in this region. What do you recommend? Lantry points to the pattern on the floor. I'd start with the grooves and stones on the floor there. It is like the spire at Vendrian's Well. Whomever built this created a mystical conduit to the top, and I think it very, very unlikely that the pattern is purely decorative.
Yeah, it's definitely, you have to recreate the rune in order to power the tower.
Yeah, so we gotta find the remaining runes. Here we go.
For every glyph I've sketched today.
Okay, charcoal rubbing.
Go.
Okay, blurred but proportionate image in the ancient relief.
Okay, so look at your 2 rubbings.
Nope, we gotta get one more.
One more?
Yep.
Are you sure it's 3?
Yep. Yeah, it just said one more and the sketch will be complete.
Oh, okay, good. Let's keep investigating.
Unfortunately, I think we have to go back to Elder Nurglurg in that house and see if we can get that stone to open up the door again. Yeah.
Let's find him.
Because I'm betting the last thing we sketch is on the other side of this rune, this door.
But I thought that the Banes were in there.
Yeah. Maybe.
Are you sure there isn't something in any of the other corners of the room? No, it was just the one over there.
Yeah.
What's that on the floor?
What, this? These floor stones have been broken recently. Bits of metal nearby would suggest the result of careless soldiers. Yeah, so I'm not seeing any other
things to sketch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we're just gonna have to open the door. Yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm betting those are the Banes. I think we have to open the door with that rune from the old man.
Yeah.
Because I'm not seeing any more of these runes.
It's interesting. It's almost like the spells. You know how you create different shapes?
Yeah, so what we're going to have to do is follow the pattern marked on the...
on the parchment.
Yeah.
Well, let's get the last one.
Yeah, so let's head outside and probably go talk to what's-his-face. Unless we have to go talk to Tunon first.
Chaldean or something.
What is it? Wasn't it Eldonian?
Eldian? Something like that.
I just remembered it was surprisingly close to just the word elder, or...
Yeah, Eldian would probably be it.
Okay, stirring visions, voices Kairos. Let's see. Oh yeah, we have all these. Oh right. These are reputations. Missives. I got a missive from Tarkus Ari a while back. May the edict claim your worthless life. So this is the brother of the other guy. We are not completely without our senses. We knew Kairos would issue an edict on our valley. Perhaps the Overlord has a sixth sense of humor, but I can assure I laughed when I learned that the death sentence loomed over the Oathbreaker and his puppet puppet equally. I had such low expectations for the servant of the so-called Archon of Justice. Tunon seems little more than a passive stooge that sits on a throne to legitimize the carnage and plunder of the other Archons. The face of prosperity that lets Kairos claim one thing while being another. I would have hoped you actually did serve justice, the notion, not the Archon. But your actions have said otherwise. At least I can thank you for proving my cynicism entirely warranted. If you survive this upcoming slaughter, bear witness that I, Tarkus Ari of the Vendrian Guard, do take responsibility for the actions of my crew. Should my warriors come before the court's axe, tell Tunon they were starving, desperate, and easily manipulated into a struggle that was mine, not theirs. Sell this lie as well as you would sell the lies of the Overlord. and that's Tarkusari. So that's, I think, one of the two brothers.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is we also knocked out... Wait, but I thought Tarkusari was a lady.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I thought it was the one of the two brothers. You know, the...
Yeah, no.
It's easier to forget.
I always thought her name was bizarre. I've never seen, like, a lady being named Tarkus.
Okay. Well, one way or another.
Okay, let's go find Eldian.
Yeah. Was it this one? I think it was this one.
Maybe?
No, it's this one down here.
Oh, he does have a sign above his door.
Yeah, I think it was this one. Eldian's house. We'll talk to him. We might have to come back a little bit later. Oh, did we talk to Merchant Helena?
No, we didn't.
Hey.
Oh, hey!
It's just a merchant.
Fine day, my friend. Yeah.
I mean, realistically, we should probably read them, but at the same time, meh.
Boots. Hats.
So she has, like...
She just has a lot of armor.
Yeah, some of these, like, might be kind of okay, but we don't have the money or the interest. We find plenty of stuff in the world. Okay, so let's see if we can talk to him again and get that stone. If we can't, we have to go for Tunon's court.
Mm-hmm.
And that should maybe let us progress here. Okay.
Yeah,
Crossings history.
How did you build the old walls, bridges? How did you settle here? Okay, what does the Brotherhood want?
Yeah, why does the Brotherhood want Lethian's Crossing? Land? Breeding stock? They've been here longer than I have, so maybe they consider it home. But Kairos' purse masters are no longer paying them to fight, and if a mercenary is killing for free, something is suspect. In the end, I suppose it doesn't matter. Raytamon will never let go. He feels he owns this town, and he aims to have it be his. Yeah, so it doesn't...
Who was Lethian? Come on, go through all the questions.
Who was Lethian? The biggest pain in the ass I ever knew. He turns bright red, blushing at his words, and lets out a strange guffaw. I suppose I shouldn't talk about my mother like that. She was a mediocre merchant, but a great leader. The war in the Northern Kingdoms cost her a very lucrative trade route up north, but she managed to earn trade stewardships from Kairos, and for a short time she had a monopoly on grain, salt, and tin here in the tiers. Well, what did my grandmother say? Give a blind man time and a pile of rocks, and eventually he'll hit a target. He shrugs. Not to say she didn't deserve it, but I think luck played a bigger part in her success than actual talent. But Kairos gives and Kairos takes. The next year, Lethian was stripped of her trade rights. Suddenly, she had a large staff but no goods to trade, and no means to pay anyone. She was a stubborn one, and knew if she just kept at it, eventually things would turn around for her. She figured the trade goods could come to us. The location was good enough. It's crazy how that would happen. So she decided on making an existing local settlement into the center of commerce for the tiers, and by the claws of the beast, she did just that. I thought she was crazy choosing a town nestled up to the old walls, but apparently she knew what she was doing. It wasn't long after that. It wasn't long after that. It was renamed Lethian's Crossing. With the bridges over the old walls, this was the only place to go if you wanted to take a week's off of your trip. Eventually, she hired the Bronze Brotherhood to act as our local guards. They were big enough and had enough commerce to warrant the protection. Lethian was your mother? Of course! How did you think I became the Reeve of the Crossing? It's certainly not my storytelling or charm. I may be the oldest living resident here, but that's certainly not good enough a reason to make someone a leader. Though, come to think of it, neither is just being the offspring of the former leader, he laughs. But, like it or not, that's how things are. My mother was a wonderful woman. She might not have been the nicest person, but she might not have been the Overlord, overfond of dalliance here, or there, or there, or there. But who isn't?
So she slept a lot. Around a lot.
Yep. His face sobers. May her rest ever be free of disturbance. How'd you build the old walls bridges? Lethian was the mastermind of that. She could tie a knot with one hand, one string. I remember watching her draw systems of ropes and knots in the sand, telling me what they would do when built. I thought she was crazy. Says she got the idea for the bridges from seeing galleys pulled out of the water into dock. Apparently the hardest part was getting the initial climbing team to brave the old walls and set the first ties. But apparently you can pay a man enough rings for him to overcome his fear of the old wall's predators.
Ooh.
Why did you settle here? Necessity! The rope bridges let us cross the old walls. With them, it didn't matter what trade rights we had. We'd be at the crossroads to the northern tiers, an unbeatable location. The siege of Ardent and the Bastard City ended up helping us. All those folks heading to points east crossed through our little settlement, and many of them decided to stake claim with us. By then, Lethian discovered there was iron in our rivers. She thought it would make us rich, but also made us a target. The old walls don't make passage through the area easy, and our bridges cut days to weeks off of a trip. Lethian's Crossing is the best bet to get your shipment where it needs to go. Mix some other load of iron ore into it, and we suddenly had a large target painted on us. What is Kairos' interest in the crossing? Iron, plain and simple. Now we have Forge bound here, toiling away with the ore they pull out of the river. We're being squeezed for our resources. If you're after a drink, better to squeeze a fruit than a stone. And it would seem many people find us to be very juicy indeed. There was a merchant who tried to peddle iron rocks as magical, because they came from areas near the old walls. One of the people he sold to happened to be a disfavored courier. The courier then showed the rock to a forge-bound master who immediately recognized his potential for making superior weapons. It was brought to Kairos' attention, and soon afterwards, the soldiers and forge-bound came to Lethian's Crossing. They came with such force our options were either to comply with what they wanted or die. Okay.
Okay, I wanted him to get back to the part where he says that he is the stone. Yeah, the spire.
How did you seal the door?
I have a keystone that can be used to open the. One of the Kairos' soldiers found it while they were looking for a way to seal the doors to keep it sealed. Only a temporary measure, though. It holds the bane back for. But
yeah, so we can't get anything from here.
Well, look at his bed.
Directions.
You haven't touched his bed.
I thought I did. Anyway, these are directions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nothing.
But his bed is still blue.
We've talked to everything. Yeah, it's because it's camping supplies.
Aww.
Yeah.
Well,
so he may have it, but we can't get it. Not yet. So we need to come back later.
Sniffle, sniffle.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. We just need to progress a little bit further. Or guess or something. I don't know. Maybe there's another way in. We just don't know about it yet.
Well, I think we are breaking the order of things by delaying our return to Tunon.
I mean, we can easily go to Tunon's place and come back. Here. I swear, what was the button I pressed to make my map big? Not control, not shift, not tab. Here, let me check. Controls. Highlight hold, highlight toggle, restore speed. Pan camera, zoom in, zoom out, toggle HUD.
interface.
Yeah, take all. Oh, that's handy. Oh, log size, map. Okay, so we have Old Walls entrance, the Forge, Siren's Sanctuary, Eldian's house. That's it. Yeah, so we have no way in. So I guess we do go off to talk to Tunon. And unfortunately, it looks like we have to run all the way over here.
All right.
To leave. Yeah, I guess it's time to go talk to Tunon, seeing as we can't do anything else.
Now the question is, are you going to be out for yourself and like secretly vying for the spires on your own? Oh, the Runic Hall. Never mind.
Runic Halls, like the Ascension Hall at Vendrin's Well, hold the power. Wait. We'll try it, but I get the feeling that's just where we already were.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, right. This is the entrance to the spire. So eventually we're going to have the top of the spire as an unlockable location too. Just like at Vendrin's Well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No dice. Oh well.
Are you sure you don't want to guess at what the rest of the symbol is? Can you look at the paper?
Let's see. Party stash quest. This.
That looks pretty solid to me, though. What would it would be an extra symbol or two along the edges?
Yeah, we could try.
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to get the full one, though.
Yeah. I have an idea. We could try.
Okay, so you need to make that weird X-y symbol in the middle. Can you go back to the image?
Yeah, I'm just looking at this for a second. So
the lower curve, the upper curve, and then it crosses.
Yeah, so it'd be this one.
Oh, you didn't connect them?
It doesn't seem like they connect.
Okay, they're starting to go.
Oh,
you have to click them both to connect them.
That's interesting. Okay.
Okay.
So my bet is it's the central circle.
And it is.
Voila.
Ha 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 ha.
Feels like we bypassed stuff. Maybe you're supposed to guess. I don't know.
Hey, I've done things like this in Myst before.
There was kind of like a faint circle in the back, and the rubbing wasn't big enough to have the whole thing, so... Well, one way or another, we get this. So this might actually make it that we have multiple towns to manage here. Weirdly enough, there's no symbol, there's no thing up here. Spire unlocked. You have acquired a second spire. All spires are linked, allowing you to travel instantly between them. This will reduce your travel time between the tiers. You can upgrade spires you discover, building new structures on top of them. Each upgrade will provide you with different benefits. Select the spire icon or press H to upgrade your new spire. Upgrades take time and money to build, and money to maintain. If you no longer have the money to maintain an upgrade, it will be suspended, and you can no longer receive its benefits until you're able to pay its maintenance cost.
Oh, that...
There are 5 resources you can find in Kyrus' tiers that can be used to power upgrades in your spire. There are scrolls, iron, bronze ingots, alchemy supplies, and hide. Each upgrade uses different resources. The arcane light courses skyward, trailing off toward the horizon in the distant direction of Vendrian's Well. You feel the ground ripped out from beneath you, yet again, as you drift back into the warmth of the energy surrounding you. Your awareness stretches beyond the limits of the spire, pulling in many directions at once. The light you saw arcing through the sky reminds you of the tether you feel to the top of Vendrian's Well. This, too, is a point of connection, and you are an inexplicable part of it, bound as surely as the spires are to each other. The Sunset Spire in Lethian's Crossing feels burdened by its age, as if a central linchpin somewhere in its core has weathered the centuries of oppressive weight and longs to topple. The surge of energy that courses through you, forming a link with the Vendrian's Well, strengthens the very stones beneath your feet. The structural weakness you detected vanishes, replaced by confidence that could keep this tower standing for millennia.
Okay. See there, due south is Ardent, where I was born, and then over to the right of that is where the Academy of Tides used to stand. Oh, and you can see this little island off in Barris and Chains. That's where Hagravar would take me to practice our more dangerous spells. My childhood as seen from above. This is surreal.
And tell me where you're writing from. Lantry speaks aloud as he pens a missive. And how to reach you, and I will send you an iron ring for your troubles. He signs his name with a flourish, and then tosses the parchment into the wind. In the blink of an eye, the heavy currents carry the slip of parchment eastward. I had this idea of a message in a bottle. Without the bottle, maybe it'll work. From here, even the old walls seem paltry. This sovereign view was not intended for the likes of us. Barrick shakes his head slowly. The spire feels like a relay between you and Vendrian's Well, bridging some transference of energy on an enormous scale. You are the first link of a chain that stretches the length of the realm. As you struggle to understand this sensation, you grow aware of the whispers around you. Listen closer.
Listen?
The whispers themselves seem to travel down the tether between you and your spires, conducting heat that feels at times unbearable. They speak of your actions, your choices, everything that led you to this place. Your name is known, your banner is recognized, your deeds reported across the tiers in the Northern Empire alike. For an instant, you can see the accumulated hope and fear these whispers represent. It appears like dewdrops settling on a leaf, then trickling into a shared basin. This image is fed to you through your connection, a base metaphor that only hints at the true scope. There is power in these spires, though its source is unfamiliar. Were you to harness it, you suspect that nothing would stand beyond your reach.
Lore.
Lore 45. Unlocking the spire seems to have opened some deeper connection. I don't know what you've done, but standing near you warms my rusted plates. Makes me feel lighter somehow.
On the moments my staff and I are separated, part of its magic goes dormant until I am once again near. That same dynamic is happening with you and the spires. They've adopted you, I guess. They certainly like you enough not to kick you out of bed.
Curious. I'm noting something also observed in the spire in Vendrian's Well. There's a mystic hum, and it has little beats when you walk, tiny fluctuations when you talk. Unless my senses are deceiving me, you and the spires are mystically attuned to each other. Most fascinating indeed. A quill pen appears in his hand, and the old sage begins furiously jotting notes on his arm. Okay, so we have things that we can do. Unfortunately, I am 2 coins poor to buy it. Anyway, I want to look at these.
Oh, a library would have been nice.
Yeah.
Magical knowledge, edicts, and artifacts.
Once built, resting in any spire grants a bonus to lore and all magical skills.
Resting grants everything? What?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm probably going to go for Forge and or Infirmary first. But I can't afford any of those anyway, so it doesn't matter. Hey! Okay. Ooh, we have a missive from Fatebinder.
Fatebinder Rogalis. What is he going to be saying? Get back. Get your butt back.
On the subject of the spires. My dear dude, the court is all abuzz with the news of the Civil War. Representatives from the chorus and the disfavored are having little shouting matches in front of Tunon. The petitioners to the court seem to be swept up in talks of who will crush whom, and if and when Tunon will bring down the gavel and stop the fighting. What has me more intrigued is the other story out of Vendrian's Well. Tunon sends you on what I thought was going to be a one-way trip to the well, and not only do you live, but somehow you claimed the mountain spire, and you broke Kairos' edict too. And such things make a little civil war seem so trivial in comparison. At least those who can separate the message from the noise. Tell me, what was it like to break the edict? And how is it you took control of the spire? Fatebinder Regalis.
Explain the experience, respond with questions of your own, or downplay the events.
Let's explain it. Let's be nice. Okay. Dear Rogalis, Kairos' edict simply said that an agent of the Overlord must claim Ascension Hall before Kairos' Day of Swords. The only thing I consciously did was take charge of the battle to claim Ascension Hall. My claiming of the spire just happened moments after I felt the edict's grip release. The floor of Ascension Hall gave way, unearthing a glowing pattern buried beneath the chamber floor. Kairos only knows how long it's been buried under the tile. As for how I actually claimed the spire, it is perhaps a mutual bond. Atop the spire is an old structure, a twin-tined edifice. I'll include a sketch on the back of the parchment. This structure spoke to me in sensations and images, and it seems to respond to my presence in some limited capacity.
Don't send it.
Is what happened. As best as I can describe it, does any of this sound familiar or bring mind any old stories or rumors? Why not?
I want to see the other responses.
Okay, don't send it.
Because I have a feeling that Tunon's going to become frightened of you.
We can also respond to it later. Respond with questions of your own. Let's see. Dear Regalis, did you know what the wording of the edict would entail? Did you advocate that I be sent on what was likely to be a one-way journey? Your questions seem to imply that my actions at Vendrian Well were orchestrated when they're in fact the product of me responding to a chaotic situation. Nothing more. Dealing with 2 petulant, disagreeable archons, occupied with what precious time I might have spent undermining Kairos. Oh, I might have spent undermining Kairos. What?
Occupied what precious time I might have spent undermining Kairos?
Huh? Okay.
What?
How about you tell me what you know first? You're the one who taught me the value of never being tricked into self-incrimination, and how could I possibly argue with that sort of wisdom? Don't send it. Let's do nothing.
What about downplaying the events?
Okay.
I want to see what that response is.
It's, Dear Rogalis, it is usually quite difficult to give me too much credit, but it sure sounds like you're implying my claim to the Spire is premeditated or even intentional. My only goal in Veteran's Well was to stay alive, to not let the Archon's indecision cause the Edict of Execution to come to pass. Ascension Hall needed to be taken, and I made it happen, both because it was my duty and because I generally prefer to live. My claim on the Spire coincided with the breaking of said edict. Perhaps breaking the edict caused a mystic surge that triggered the Spire, or perhaps Kairos knew this would happen, and such knowledge tempered the wording of the edict. I can only offer you these speculations. You know, I'm actually leaning for this one.
I wanted you to send this one because it doesn't tell him too much. It's also not accusatory, and it's also not giving everything.
Yep. All right, Bastard City it is. Tunon's Court.
Wait, are you sure you couldn't go to any other spires and like claim them all first?
No. Because all we've got is Haven can't do anything with that. We got this one, but we'd have to go to the Bladegrave lands. We can't
travel to
Yeah, can't go to the Burning Library, and it can't go to the Stone Sea.
Okay.
Do each have 2? No, I have 2. They have 2, and they only have 1. Okay, well, let's go to the Bastard City. I can't imagine there's a whole lot left. Yeah. Upgrade, Mysterious Device, Ascension Wall. I mean, we can teleport over here whenever we want, but I don't think we need to. So let's just go to the Bastard City.
Are you sure you didn't want to save?
Sure.